afternoon, everybody. Thank you for watching Huttons Facebook Live. Today, I'm Sitek, Director of Research for Huttons. I have with me today Rex Tan, our Executive Group District Director, one of our top teams in Huttons itself, to join me to talk about the March 2021 developer sales numbers. Rex, I mean, this is going to be a two-way thing. Do you, is either I ask you a question or you ask me a question? You want to start the ball rolling?
Well, we can start. Actually, I'm quite curious, especially if asking question on behalf for those who just seeing this first time. What is there to learn about, or what is the main takeaway for this March developer sales talk?
Okay, the thing is for March itself, the key highlights. Can we have the slides on, please? In March, the sales number actually doubled what we have for February. February, we have about 645 units sold, but that was because there was actually no major project launches. Whereas in March, we have major project launches, and that actually pushed up the overall sales to more than 1,200 units, and in fact, close to 1,300 units itself.
According to my understanding, is like what, 8 years high, especially at core central region. Am I right?
Yes. So one of the so-called regions that is leading the sales in March itself is actually the core central region, or we can say to be the district 9, 10, 11, your downtown core plus Sentosa itself. So this is actually the very prime areas, and it's actually very surprising that the core central region actually led the whole monthly sales, because that has not happened for the past 8 years, like what you have pointed out.
Yeah, because in core central regions, the affordability are not for the masses, and it's quite normal that we don't see high transaction volume in the core central region compared to the rest. So we can see from the chart that there is Midtown Modern, RV, and the M outperforming in the core central region. So main reason I believe is quite obvious is that Midtown Modern is launched in the month of March. But RVA is not launched in the month of March. Why is there a huge volume transacted there?
Actually, I should ask you the question because you are more on the ground than me. So what is actually the reasons why we see the core central region like Midtown Modern, RV, FT2, and the M actually doing so well in March?
For RVA, if you are active in the market, you will have known that actually the developers has been giving attractive discount up to 300,000. And a buyer mentality is that when there's a discount, some might come in, some might not. But people who have seen how the past transaction happen in RVA, they see that it is important for them to capture the opportunity, and therefore 77 unit was sold, and the project is fully sold in March. So for the M, I think it's more like a comparison, because Midtown Modern and the M both are close by to each other within the same vicinity, and there's a spillover effect, and this is a good thing, because I think this is something that we can talk about in our Q&A later.
Okay, sure. I mean, maybe also not just talking about what has happened in the past also. I mean, everybody also want to know, like, how can we spot similar trends, and then to say identify certain good buys that they can enter in first before the rest of the people actually so-called know of the any good deals out there.
So for similar trends, or how can we write on similar trends, I think we need to keep a good base with clients and agents relationship, so that whenever there is good discount or promotion that's going on, in Huttons especially, we give out a monthly like a newsletter, a star buy list to all our clients, all our associates, so that whereby you can refer to the star buy list and check out what are the good deals that's happening in that particular month. So that's something that we could follow through. Then you'll be able to ride on some good wave. Then on similar projects that will move like this, what is the upcoming new launches that we can expect to have?
Yeah, I think the upcoming one that is going to get the market excited is again in the core central region, which is One Bernam. It's actually right in downtown core district 2 itself. I think the prices are very attractive, start from $1 million for the one bedroom unit itself. And the sizes for this development for each of the bedroom type are actually designed for people to actually have more space to live in. I think the three bedroom, the size is actually not heard of in recent years, more than 1,400 square feet, which is really a very comfortable size for families.
Okay, so One Bernam will be performing, I believe, like Midtown Modern, selling very well in the preview. And what are some of the projects that home buyers can look into surrounding?
I think just not just about One Bernam itself. In the vicinity of One Bernam is another project in District 2, which is Sky Everton. Sky Everton also did very well during their so-called first day of sales.
Yes.
I think they also moved, I think, 200 odd units.
My understanding, Sky Everton, the smaller units are all fully sold already.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's only left with the 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom.
Yeah.
How is the price comparing to One Bernam?
It will be difficult to do a apple-to-apple comparison on the price. First of all, Sky Everton is actually a freehold project. One Bernam is a 99-year, so you are actually not comparing like for like. And the vicinity-wise is also very different. Sky Everton, although in District 2, is actually more towards the SGH,
Spottiswoode.
the health campus over there, Spottiswoode area. Whereas One Bernam is actually in the Tanjong Pagar, right in the CBD, where you have a
Huge
huge
pool
pool
of
of tenants.
tenant catchment.
Yes. So January wise, I think there were about 32 units sold, February 50 units, and then now in March 87. So buyers' attention are already returning to District 15. I think largely is because of one thing is the price point. For example, some of them are just going around 2,000 plus, 2004, even around that range for a freehold project. And then you have the rarity of, say, living by the sea itself. So that's why the attention has now moved to District 15. And some of the projects actually did very well in recent months. Is projects like Amber Park, you have Neon, as well as May House.
I see that the interest level for Amber, Neon, and Mail House actually has no that there's of iconic that's launching recently, and look at the vicinity if you want something that's freehold.
Existing as well as something that are coming itself.
Sure.
Yeah. So this slide here actually shows some of the more so-called bigger projects in District 15 itself. Why do I color certain areas in red? Actually, those areas that color in red, right? The areas that's affected by average hundreds same land. So in a way, it's will limit, especially District 15, has always been so-called the top choice among a lot of Singaporeans wanting to live by the sea itself. I mean, the demand will happen in the future also. So, some of these
From the chart that even if there is coming all big size development, there's no like large progress. and coming in District 15. Am I right?
In District 15, you will seldom get very big size projects. Amber Park is probably the biggest, largest that you will get. The next upcoming that is so-called the more mid-size that will be live at MB.
Yes.
Then there's only another one, Embassy, that is also coming in this year also. But you compare, can we click the slide? Because it's not moving. Okay, so the whole thing is all the numbers there when I add up and compare to what is the so-called unsold units in the market, it probably make up about 4%. So there's actually not many choices actually for buyers to choose from if they want to stay in District 15, and the choices actually get even lesser if you move and say you want to be just right next to the sea itself. Okay, maybe I should say right next to the sea because there's always the expressway that separates. So very near to the sea in terms of that kind of living.
And people who like the East Coast living will still go back to the East Coast area. And in the East Coast area, it's not difficult to find reason that why Amber Park is always moving well, because it's a huge development. And it's freehold.
Yes.
So clients who are looking in the East Coast area, in District 15 or 16, usually they go back to the same cluster, and you should definitely recommend the top 3 projects that to recommend for your clients to see. Now we are seeing that top 10 projects in March 2021. So I have another question. If you examine the table and chart correctly, there are a lot of units that's being transacted. Ranking number 1 is Midtown Modern, all the way to 29 units at the M. But most of the projects that we see on the chart, they are all mainly most of them, especially you can see from the top 5, 3 of them are above 2002 PSF, which is not cheap. At all. And of course, the PSF can go up to as high as 4 over 1,000 for Midtown Modern. So I believe strongly that PSF is not the thing that actually drive in huge number of sales, because PSF in the mass market perspective, even the average PSF is looking at 1,004 to 1,006. So since PSF is not the main driving factor for the huge volume in March or in the subsequent month, what would be the main driving factors that these projects are selling so well?
The main consideration on a lot of buyers' mind now is actually how much loan and how much cash they have to come out. So when you translate back to what they are thinking, it's actually the absolute quantum. So the quantum affordability, there's sweet spot pricing. For example, in District 9, if you can find something that starts from 1 million or even lesser, I think that is something that a lot of buyers actually look at and consider very strongly. For example,
Hill, 50% sold on preview day.
They start the starting prices start from below 1 million itself, and then one Burnham start from 1 million. So again, in the CCR, this kind of prices
are the sweet
spot and very attractive to buyers.
All right. So,
and then if you look at this table, we will have to say one thing is that the prices itself, we take the median price, for example, it is somewhat in the same like your average price in terms of that so-called, if you study that in school, not exactly, but it is close.
I guess that the average price of like 1,004 or even 1,006 is somehow very acceptable range for buyers that's looking for new homes these days.
Because the 4,000, 5,006, this is actually now the norm. So if you are looking for an alternative, for example, say anything like 1,000, 1,001, we can look at the executive condominium, which this year you So if you are that, you can actually take a look at that itself.
And this is among all the EC that's launching, will be the nearest to MRT station, right?
Yes,
Provence
yes.
residences.
Actually, I think it is the only project this year. There are more these new developments coming up that will actually enhance the whole livability, the whole so-called environment for Sembawang.
Sure.
So I think maybe to conclude, what can you all expect, say, for April itself?
Yes.
So actually in April, there are, say, three launches. We already have one will be Grange 1866, another will be one of Eden. So again, when on the and injected one demand of housing in one that very well, and this project is not big, only 165 units itself. So then again, if we look at everything and then we just do some estimation, I think April will going to see in 1,000 units. So we all depend on liquidity in the market.
Yes.
And
in the market, we understand that because now foreigners are unable to come in, and most of the transaction, let's say more than 90% these days, are all transacted by Singaporean. So when we do not have foreigners intakes in our Singapore property, majority are taken up by Singaporean. It has been so healthy already. My question would be, what if foreigners are allowed to relocate or are allowed to travel and come into Singapore to work again? What will happen to the property price market?
Yeah. So over here, we share the March numbers here. The price range that is actually bought by Singaporeans, PRs, and foreigners itself.
Yep.
Actually, there is one fact that actually stands out in this table for me, which is Singaporeans bought 10 properties, their price more than 5 million.
Which is quite crazy, right?
Which is very, very, very,
because
okay,
in
I can't think of that also.
Because in our opinion, every time when we see that there's a big ticket item that's being transacted, we always think that it is the foreigners that's coming into
yes.
the property purchase. But now we are seeing that it is quite normal that Singapore coming into more than 5 million property transaction as well.
Yeah, and at the point to coming in and for business or other they how you meet.
I guess Singapore will bubble and such a world designated economic open to normal. Singapore definitely is a top choice for foreigners to come in to stay and of course to invest in property.
Correct. So just March alone itself, you see the number of foreigners actually make up about 4%, which is almost close to what we had before COVID. So imagine if that when we really have allowing foreigners to come in, right? What were so-called be the end result in terms of demand on the market itself. And after one of them actually will
settle in, get the
and,
PR, buy a property.
Yes. So all this is going to translate into more demand for homes, and perhaps also to give our viewers here some little snippets of info also. If I were to look at whatever we have unsold, just now I mentioned 24,000 odd units, right?
Yes.
And if the first quarter we have 3,500, and we let it off, and then plus whatever new addition coming, we probably end the first quarter around 21,000 to 22,000 unsold units.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what are the new supply that we are going to have coming into the market? Those en bloc right now we have is very small size.
Yeah. So the recent en blocs are all the more like apartments, small condos. There's how many are those en blocs add up together? How many total units can they build?
Okay, those that have been sold plus those that actually been launched for tender. If I take it as all of them are all sold,
yes,
they probably make out 500 odd units only.
So you're talking about a reserve site plus
not reserve, just private residential sites, only 500 odd units.
Okay.
If I want to talk about government land sales, GLS, today they just launched one more site at Lentor Central, and then another EC site. If exclude the EC site, I take all the government land sales on the confirmed list and reserve list. It comes out to around 5,000.
It's 5,000. Pretty little, huh?
5,000 plus 500. The 500 units itself, 5,005. Yeah. So you
units that is on the
what will be the incremental result on prices?
Price increasement.
Yeah. So we feel that prices for this year, barring any unforeseen circumstances, especially on the economy side, or even government intervention, we would probably see up to 5% increase in property price this year.
In my opinion, just our own opinion, we see that actually government has come in with another regulation for en bloc site. So en bloc might not be easily available. Like the en bloc fever might not comes like what we have experienced back then 2 years ago. So if en bloc fever might not be coming so soon, do you foresee that GLS, the government might open up more reserve and GLS site, in your opinion?
I think the government should actually right now step in to open up or put more sites into the GLS program itself, because the en bloc sites, the sites currently are really small. They can't really come in to actually so-called quench the thirst for land among the developers. And if developers still see the risk as pretty high to buy land itself, they
uncertainty already, not high uncertainty
and all this because of APSC or because they are afraid of, say, cooling measures, then they really may shift their attention to another sector that actually has less intervention from the government, which is the EC sites, executive condo. So on that aspect, maybe there will be more bidders going for EC land in 2021.
Okay. So if you are looking at the video today, looking at our live, I think if you want to get something soon before the supply getting lesser and lesser with more demand on the market, you should commit very soon, because based on our calculation, as you know, on the consumption rate of the unit that is being sold on a quarter-to basis, the good units is not going to wait for you.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon for our Facebook Live. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.